Hi, Greg.
Morning.
Hi. Good morning. Okay, let me turn this to the side. Hello. Okay, just give me 1 second. I'm going to just adjust the angle and going to record it.
Okay.
Okay. Do you mind? Is this your cell phone or is it a laptop?
It's my laptop.
Okay, so you won't be able to flip over. Okay, let me see what I can do here.
I probably can.
Okay, all right. It doesn't help. It's still the same. It's okay. I think.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let me see. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to do it like this way.
Is that your iPad?
It's my iPhone. Okay. I'm going to do.
You should be able to lock the screen rotation, shouldn't you?
Okay. Yeah. Let me see. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're so smart. Thank you for your suggestion.
There we go.
Okay. So it's so much better now. Okay. Okay. Let's put this one here. All right. So, Greg, first, can we have you to tell us a little bit about your the update of yourself? So your turn with Council Canada has due in January. You said.
Yeah, I was on the Alberta Canola Producers Commission, and we also had a representative on the Canola Council of Canada, and that was me for a couple of years. My term with Alberta ended last January, so now I'm just Joe Farmer.
So you are still in the industry, just that you are not in the council anymore.
Yes, that's correct.
I see. And my colleague Cynthia, she did an interview with you. I think that was 2-3 years ago. And that time, our Prime Minister Trudeau, he just visited China, and they had the agreement extended for I think it's until 2020, right? But now it's not even 2020. We have so much change. So, as someone from industry, are you surprised to see that China has such a big move?
Well, the original thing we were talking about a couple of years ago had to do with a disease called blackleg, and there was an agreement put in place to help manage that disease and address how the two countries looked at that disease specifically.
Mm-hmm.
The situation we're in right now, I think, is quite a bit different, and it's not related to that original issue of blackleg. I think there's a lot of surrounding issues right now, political and trade issues between the two countries that are impacting us right now.
I see. So is the disease problem been solved? Because when China banned our oil seed, they still say that they contain hazardous organism. So what does that mean?
My understanding, and again, I'm not deeply involved in the issue right now, is that they have identified air quotes pests, and but we haven't really seen a whole bunch of information on what those pests are. As far as I know, it is not related to blackleg.
I see. So that's different things that we're talking about from 3 years ago.
Yes.
I see. And do you know like what's industry's reaction to this? Are people sad or angry?
I think the industry is fairly confident that the quality of the product that we have been sending to our export markets is good. Every inspection that I've heard of, again from a farmer's perspective, leaving the country has not had any excess amount of problems in it. So we have an issue right now where it's a sort of a he says, she says type of thing, where China is saying they have found pests, yet the Canadian authorities and the exporter is saying, well, there was nothing in it when it left here. So it's an issue that really needs to be worked collaboratively to figure out what was going on. And right now, there's not a lot of traction in getting that collaborative effort.
I see. And are you surprised canola seed become the target of what's going on between China and Canada?
I think the reality is that canola is one of the largest economic hammers that can be exploited in a trade dispute. It's a huge export for Canada, a huge import for China, and so it's obviously a big target if you want to exert pressure politically.
Mm-hmm. I see. I remember 3 years ago when you talked to my colleague, you were saying that that would be great if we can have a contract signed between two countries. So, are you still optimistic between our trade with China, or do you think that this happened because we don't have anything in between us, contract or anything that can help us?
Well, I think it's hard to be optimistic right now, but I think long term we do have a very strong relationship with China. Many Chinese living and working in Canada. It's a century old relationship with China. So I think long term there is still hope that a good trading relationship will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Agriculture specifically is really difficult to predict because there's a lot of gray area in trade with agricultural products. There's a lot of things that can be thrown up that are difficult to pin down in agreements.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really important that we do work on defining parameters and rules for trade as much as possible.
Mhm, I see. And what kind of thing are you hoping to see from our government? Do you think they do enough, or do you think their approach is right?
From the Canadian government, I think the biggest thing is we really do need to engage with the Chinese authorities, identifying what pests they believe are in the product, and get those discussions going. I think right now, certainly from my perspective and a lot of farmers, we're sitting and we really don't know what the true situation is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very frustrating because as far as we know, the product is good, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of side issues.
I see. And how bad was this impact? Is this impacting our economy and our industry here?
Um, well, because there's no seed exports to China,
Mm-hmm.
the price that we receive on our farm for the product has probably gone down in the range of 15 to 20%, which
Oh.
in a margin business like farming is basically all your profit on that product. So it throws a lot of planning decisions up in the air because if this is a short-term issue, say 6 months from now it's solved and the markets resume, you go ahead and you put canola in your rotation.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something that's going to last for multiple years, you have to look at trimming back canola because again that 15 or 20% less price than what we used to have,
Mm-hmm.
it is not really a profitable crop to grow. We have to find other options.
So at this point, we don't know how long this will last or how long. I see. Do you think a
No.
lot of people will lose their job? A lot of unemployment will happen?
In Canada, I think it may change how we deal with our canola sales. It may put more emphasis on the domestic market, other markets, and also doing more processing in Canada because of the ability to sell the oil and the meal into China and into other markets without having to worry about some of the other issues surrounding. Of course, that could change tomorrow, and they could say we're not taking the products either, the oil or the meal or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's just a lot of uncertainty, and we're not real big fans of uncertainty.
Has anything like this happened in the past like 20, 30 years before? Like this kind of big impact?
I don't think, it's happened, say, in the last 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
a couple times with China. I think there's been some big changes in worldwide markets in the last 20 years where China has become such a dominant customer for so many products, be it pork or beef or canola.
Mm-hmm. I see.
and we see it also. India is the same thing on pulses. So the worldwide trade is dominated by a few major customers, and it does make things a little more challenging.
I see. And you mentioned about different market. Is there any specific market that Canada can try to maybe open up a little more?
Again, I'm speaking from a farmer's perspective, but I believe we are trying to get into Europe a lot more with the oil seeds. We're always looking at India and Malaysia, a lot of the countries that would be included in the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
I see. And just give me 1 second. Let me go over to see if I have missed anything. So what's your plan? Like, are you just are you going to wait to see what's the situation going to change, or are you guys going to do anything together to talk to the government?
I think as a farmer, we have our cropping plans in place on a sort of a multi-year rotation. It's very difficult to change those rotations at the flip of a switch. So I think for this year, we haven't seen a huge change in the acreages and the amount of canola put in the ground. But again, if it looks like a long-term situation, we're going to see people moving away from canola and into other products that maybe aren't so dependent on China. And that's unfortunate for Canadian farmers, and I think it's ultimately unfortunate for the Chinese people because it's a good product that's in demand in their country.
I see. I know that you are now with the you are now in the council now, but I think you guys are still the member of the council, right?
Farmers are all part of the Canola Council.
And what's
through
your
our provincial organizations?
I see. And what's your plan as in the council or as a big member? Are you guys planning to take any action?
I can't really comment too much on what the council is planning. Again, I'm not really part of that anymore. But as far as I know, the most recent information I have is that they're going to continue to look for a science-based resolution to the issue, trying to build a good conversation with the entities in China to understand what the true issues are surrounding canola trade and work the issue from that perspective, along with the government of Canada.
I see. So is now is this affecting every farmer, canola seed farmer in Alberta? Is there any like a farm or anyone that is like not part of it?
I would have to say that it does affect pretty much everybody. Yes.
Everybody.
There are very few farmers that do not grow canola, and even if you don't grow canola, the potential for market impacts from canola acreage being switched into another product would be there eventually for pretty much everybody as well. And it certainly is affecting our pork producers and our livestock producers with the other sanctions that have been put on.
I see. Okay, yeah, that's all the question I have. Is there anything? Oh, can we just talk a little bit about the disease you mentioned earlier? It's called black leg.
Black leg, yeah.
Yeah. So is this one pretty much solved, or is the disease still exist by any of the farm?
I think black leg, like any disease, is one that is managed. It evolves, so it's an ongoing effort to manage the disease through genetics in the seed, through agronomic practices. So how we treat the crops out in the field to minimize the impact of black leg.
I see. And did the Chinese government mention that this was not black leg, or did they talk about? Did they give you guys any direction, like what kind of dangerous pests they're talking about?
I have not heard exactly what they have identified. As far as I know, it is not black leg. But again, I'm outside of the circle, but that is just the information that I have.
I see. Okay, yeah, that's all the question I have. Thank you. And anything else you would like to add on this topic, or any message you would like to share with us?
No, I think that's good.
Okay, perfect. Just one last question. So now you are still you are still the farmer. So what kind of title should we put on your name?
I'm just Mister.
Okay, sure. So can I say?
Just a farmer, and I'm a former member of the Canola Council, but
Remember?
I'm
Okay.
just a farmer now, and always stay involved with the industry and information. But right now, I'm just trying to raise my crops and raise my family.
Okay, great, perfect. Thank you so much for your time and doing this with us
Okay.
again. Thank you,
You bet.
Greg.
Thank you.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.
Bye.